Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will be discussing 5 common Qlik Sense mistakes that can lead to incorrect calculations, misleading KPIs, and even inaccurate business decisions. These are mistakes that many developers encounter at some point in their Qlik journey, whether they are new to the platform or have years of experience. Our goal is to understand why these mistakes happen, how to identify them, and most importantly, how to avoid them when building dashboards and reports. Guys, we will cover topics such as counting record versus unique values, set analysis mistakes, data model issues, null values, and aggregation problems that can produce unexpected results. By the end of this tutorial, guys, you will be able to recognize these common pitfalls and build more accurate and reliable Qlik Sense applications. Let's get started with mistake number 1. Okay, using count instead of count distinct. As you can see on my screen here, the KPI one is showing count and the other one is showing count distinct. Okay, so let's begin with one of the most common mistakes in Qlik Sense development. Suppose a business user asks a simple question: how many customers place orders? How many customers place orders? At first glance, it might seem reasonable to use the following expression: count customer ID. This expression counts every occurrence of customer ID in the data set. This expression that you see right here. Okay, so let's look at the result. Notice that the KPI is returning a value of 12. Can you see that? It's returning a value of 12. The problem is that this expression is counting rows, not unique customer. If a customer places multiple orders, that customer will be counted multiple times. In our data set, look at customer C001. Customer C001 appears more than once because the customer placed multiple orders. You can see that from the data set. As a result, the count is inflated. So to answer the business question correctly, we need to count unique customers. So the second KPI we're going to use, count distinct customer ID. So we're going to replace the first expression with the count distinct expression. As you see here, count distinct customer ID. Now the KPI returns number of unique customers who place orders. This is more accurate result because each customer is counted only once, regardless of how many orders they submitted. The key takeaway is simple, guys. Count record. The count expression only counts record, but the count distinct count unique values. Let me repeat that and make sure we get it very clear. count expression only count record. They count distinct expression count unique values. So guys, before building a KPI, always confirm whether the business want the number of transactions or the number of unique entities. This small difference can have a significant impact on reporting accuracy. Let's move on to mistake number 2, using the wrong field in set analysis. This is a mistake that can be difficult to spot because the expression is technically valid, but it returns the wrong business result. Okay, suppose the business requirement is to display total sales for the East region. To accomplish this, I have created a KPI using set analysis. Here is a set analysis. However, instead of filtering for the East region, the expression was written using West region. In my set analysis here, instead of using East region to filter that using region East, I use region equals to West. Okay? You notice that the KPI is returning a value. So at the first glance, everything appears to be working correctly. There are no syntax error. There are no warning messages. The problem is that the expression is filtering the wrong data. As developers, we sometimes focus on whether an expression works and forget to verify whether it is returning the correct business result. Let's correct the expression. I'm going to change the set analysis So right now I'm going to change the set analysis filter from West to East. Now you can see the KPI returns a different value. This is a correct result because the expression is now aligned with the business requirement. The lesson here is simple, guys. A valid expression does not always mean a correct expression. Always compare your calculation against the actual business requirement before moving an application to production verify. Okay? Before moving the application to production, please just verify the correct field is being used, the correct values are being filtered, and the result match what the business expect to see. Small mistakes in set analysis can produce completely different numbers and lead to incorrect reporting decisions. Now let's talk about mistake number 3. Duplicate record after a join. This is one of the most dangerous mistakes in Qlik Sense because your expressions may be correct, but your numbers are still wrong. For this example, guys, I'm going to start with only the orders table loaded. In this script, I have the order table loaded from Excel file. This is how the script look like. After loading this table, I can return to the dashboard, or let's return to the dashboard and review two KPIs. They are the two KPIs. The first KPI is total sales. We're just doing some sales. That's our expression. The second KPI is orders count. All we're doing is just count order ID. At this point, these numbers represent the original orders table before any joins are applied. So this is our baseline. Now let's introduce a second table called customer region. The table contains customer ID and territory. Now here is the important part. Customer C001 appears more than once in the customer region table. Let me show you that. You can see customer C001 appears in more than once in the customer region table. This is because this customer is associated with multiple territories. You can see that territory is, another territory is corporate. This means customer C001 has more than one matching role. Now I'm going to load customer region table into the app, and I'm going to do that by performing a join. So let's just say I decide to join that table to the orders table. That is how the script look like. I'm doing a left join to that. At first, this may look harmless, but when I reload the app, Qlik matches record based on customer ID. Because customer C001 appears twice in the customer region table, every order for C001 gets duplicated. Let's return to the dashboard and see that. Notice that total sales has increased. Also notice that order count has increased. The important thing is that we did not add any new orders. We did not add any new sales transactions. The numbers changed because the join duplicated existing record. This is why join related mistakes are so dangerous. Okay, your KPI expression may still be correct. Okay, Some sales is still calculating the sales, count order is still calculating orders. But the underlying data has been duplicated, so the results are inflated. A good way to troubleshoot this is to compare totals before and after a join. You should also check row count before and after loading additional tables. If your sales suddenly increase after a join, that is a warning sign that the join may have created duplicate records. The key takeaway here is this: incorrect data models can produce incorrect dashboard result even when your chart expressions are written correctly. Before blaming the KPI or the expression, always validate your data model, your joins, and your record count. Let's move on to mistake number 4: ignoring null or blank values. This is another common issue in Qlik Sense because missing values can quietly affect your KPIs, tables, and charts. In this example, we have a customer record where the product field is blank. So looking at this table right here, you can see that the customer record where the product field is blank. So you notice that the customer C010 has a sales value, but the sales amount exists, but the product value is missing. Sales amount exists, customer exists, but the product value is missing. Now let's look on the right where we have two KPIs. The first KPI uses count customer ID. The second KPI uses count product. At first, you might expect both count to return the same number, but they do not. Why? The reason is that count product only count record where product has a value. If product is blank or null, Qlik does not count it in that expression. This can cause confusion if you assume every record has complete data. The same issue can happen with fields like region, category, or department, or any other field used in a dashboard. The key takeaway is this, my friends: missing values can affect your calculation and make your numbers look smaller than expected. So before trusting your KPIs, guys, always check for nulls, blanks, and missing field values in your data set. A good practice is to create a simple validation table that shows key fields like customer ID, product, sales. This helps you quickly identify records where important fields are missing. In Qlik Sense, accurate dashboards depend not only on correct expressions but also on clean and complete data. Mistake number 5: using the wrong aggregation logic. This mistake happens when the expression is technically correct but it answers the wrong business question. Suppose the business asks, what is the average sales per customer? At first, a developer might just use this average sales, right? This expression works and it returns a value. But the problem is that it averages each sales transaction, not each customer. If one customer has multiple orders, each of those transactions is included separately in the average. That means the expression is answering a different question. What is the average sales amount per transaction? Now let's create the correct expression for averaging sales per customer. Follow me here. Let's create that using a KPI. So we can use this expression. This expression, first, it calculates the total sales for each customer. Then it averages those customer totals. Now we are answering the actual business question. What is the average sales per customer? Okay. So we are answering the actual business question. Average sales per customer. The important lesson is this: a valid expression is not always the right expression. Before choosing an aggregation like sum, average, count, aggregation, always confirm the level of detail required by the business question. Are you calculating at the transaction level, the customer level, the product level, or even the region level? In Qlik Sense, wrong aggregation logic can produce numbers that look reasonable but are actually misleading. Always match your expression to the business question.